stream. This time I'm wearing my headphones because I don't know. I wanted to have like a stream where just reflect again. This time I don't know because I've been kind of like since I became unemployed. I've been kind of like trying to, I guess, get that sense back of freedom that I used to feel like I had. Um, Even though I know that clearly, a lot of that freedom was not really well, was not really like the best thing for me. Um, yeah, because I did grow up in the 2000s. I grew up during a time when Pokemon was getting really popular. Yu-Gi-Oh. I remember playing that card game, being like, I was obsessed about everything back then. I mean, I'm still obsessed about a lot of things like now, but like back then was like really, really obsessed. I definitely need to turn the light on, even if it messes up this camera. It does make this one look good. Anyway, yeah, it was an interesting time to grow up. I would say it was just like it was interesting, but at the same time, it was like scary. It's like it was interesting if you remain naive for the most part, but like if my audio is like really crispy. Wonder why. Um, yeah, not sure if it's because of my headphones. Sorry. In any case, but it was like one of those things. Oh wow. No, it is the audio. I am wondering what the cause is. Let me. Okay, maybe it's because like my audio was too loud or something, or maybe I just needed. Well, I can't get better headphones. I mean, a better mic. Maybe I can. There are sales coming up, but oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm just trying to get like my most comfortable positioning, etc. Um, yeah, so I don't know. It's like reflecting on how life is now. You almost feel nostalgic, but in reality, uh, that nostalgia, that nostalgia is kind of misplaced. Um, 'Cause I remember being bullied a lot as a kid and just like feeling really insecure for good reason because I was pretty much like made to feel so insecure as a kid because like autism was like not really a diagnosis back then, and then of course like childhood trauma from like personal family situations and whatnot. It's like I don't know. I find it funny, almost like this nostalgia for the '90s. I mean, well, yeah, for the '90s and the 2000s. to me they're kind of like indistinguishable just because back then I was literally a kid. Like I knew how much like the 90s played a role in shaping the culture of the early 2000s at least. Um because of course with um the first few years of the next decade there's always like a lot of influence from the past decade, right? Yeah. So like just reflecting on that, it's like really weird because it's just like it really wasn't all that. I liked having not having like all these worries. You know, I wouldn't have to worry about being unemployed because it's like no, you're not really supposed to be employed when you're like 5 or 6 years old, or even like later on in the 90s. Like I mean, the 2000s. Um, being like 15 or whatever. Yeah, you're not really supposed to have a job yet at that point. Um, I mean, I did work with at my family's business, which they lost, back in 2009 because of the recession. They held up, they held out for a little bit, but between like having a hurricane kind of mess up the inventory and a recession that impacted literally everyone. And plus, I think there's like a few there are like competing companies, um, competing stores because they just ran like a Filipino grocery store at the time. Yeah, they like basically didn't stand a chance in the new decade. So, they did have to file for bankruptcy, and that was a whole mess. That was a mess that we basically dealt with um for a while. Honestly, like my mother, I think, was still paying for just like all of like the garnishment into well into the 2010s. Because he was the one that was able to find a job. Because my father has not gotten any type of like job or anything. Because he's just like, well, the only thing I can do is business. And so like the onus is often on me to provide money, but I'm like, this is not fair. I can't keep this up. Like I know it's not fair for my mother either, but at the same time for me it's like you both know what I go through on a regular basis with my health and all of those other conditions. Like I I'm not built for working a corporate job and staying there. And those people know it. Hence I was laid off. Um I digress. Because I have a really unique experience with like the 2000s. It's not like it's not like I was. I mean, maybe I guess I was an average kid. I had a mild video game addiction. I do remember that. I literally spent like my 10th birthday back in 2003. Like, I think I was holed up in my brother's room. I was sitting down and I played Nobody Was in Town. And we just basically stopped throwing birthday parties after that. And I guess I was glad that that happened because, like, it really was just for my parents to have, like, influence in the community and show that, they're throwing birthday parties for their son, I guess. So I really did not like birthday parties that often. And I would always cry, like, every year because I hated like all the social interaction. It was just too much. But yeah, I mean, like, yeah. So yeah, 2003. Oh wait, no, I did have a 2004 birthday party, but not 2000. Well, I technically had a 2005 one, but that was the hurricane. Because Hurricane Rita basically went through and we lost power. Um, yeah. Oh wait, no, that wasn't Hurricane. Oh yeah, it was Hurricane Rita, but we didn't lose power. We lost power from Hurricane Ike. That was 2008. I remember so much of the 2000s from like hurricanes that hit the Houston area. Yeah. Oh yeah, and like another thing is how, I mean, just like the culture in general was just like busted. Everyone was so conservative. Like, as much as I want to blame how conservative the 2020s has become, it's no match whatsoever to like the 2000s, because conservatism, patriotism, nationalism, that was like completely there. At least, even though the people who did vote didn't vote correctly, a lot of people recognize how just busted everything is in the US like now. Many people recognize it and understand it. They just don't know what to do about it because, they're trying to um pay the bills, they're trying to get jobs, they're trying to get something on the table basically. They're not just like people who are willfully ignorant. They literally cannot um afford to be analyzing things, right? I mean, honestly, I can barely afford that myself, probably, to be quite frank. But either way, yeah. But I mean, just the vibe, though, does seem very similar. I will say. Like, mid 2000s feels a lot like what the mid 2020s are feeling like, or have been feeling like. It does feel like something is imminent. It felt like something's missing from the fabric of society. That's what it feels like today. And it's just like, okay, well, yeah. I just realized, wow, July tsunami prophecy. I really want to watch. Okay, let me like click on that just to 34 hours. Oh no. Why me? Why am I here? How to make a CPU? No. So that's not what I wanted to watch. It's like Mamdani is like literally giving leftists hope. That's what it feels like. Oh wait, did I watch this though? Yeah, because I don't know what this. Oh well. Yeah. So I guess like maybe to get on another note, I did want to watch like a few videos because recently my algorithm's been like, oh yeah, you wanna watch videos about the 2000s, and I guess I do because it's like, oh my god, Why did I get there? Your videos. No, I'm glad my screen over here is like really small because I don't like looking at my stats. I get freaked out when I look at my stats. Anyway, um, oh yeah. Also apparently, I want to watch like cold cases. But yeah, I mean, I guess this video is like about loneliness. I'm guessing.
Alright, GG's. Thanks for the games, $5.78.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'll never forget Evol's like 1995. You hopping on tomorrow?
Yeah, but I'll get on after lunchtime.
Okay, see ya.
Oh, that's kind of sad. But it makes sense. Let's see the comments. I approve. Yeah, no. That's happened to me like so many times. Yeah. It's like you don't even know what happened. It's like your world once revolved around like this select group of people, and all of a sudden you're just gone. They're just gone. Like I honestly feel like I probably like experienced this really like during the 2010s probably. Um back when I was in that like early young adult stage where I was like, you know, growing up. Yeah, it's so weird. Okay, don't really know what the rest of the thread is saying. Um, it is giving forehead. Being some random kid you met on the playground, never saw again. That is true. Yeah, I was like such a freak during like, not in the like in that way, but like literally, I was considered such a weirdo. So like the people who I would interact with on a regular basis on the playground were like other weird kids. What I will say was weird is that like I think like a few years later, after like elementary school, after like getting bullied relentlessly, it's like almost everyone who interacted with me and remembered me, well, they remembered me first, and I was like, who the hell are y'all? Like I remember like this one kid. Well, okay, I guess he wasn't really a bully or anything to me. Cause for some reason I was in like two different like fifth grade classes. Like I was officially assigned to this Filipino teacher, but she basically had me go do like homeroom with a different class, and it was weird. It's like, yeah, I mean those kids were kind of smarter. I'm not even gonna lie, but they were also meaner. Were they? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because like the other class, a lot of them were pretty nice to me. So like that kid in particular was from that other class, so I didn't really spend too much time with them, even though I was technically assigned. But then like I think towards the end of the year, I don't know what happened, but like they they stopped letting me go to that other class, and I didn't get the memo. Like I would literally sneak out of the class, then they would get me again. I was like, wait, I'm not supposed to go here. Why was I supposed to go here for like the entire year, but now I'm not supposed to? Well, yeah. Oh wait, I do remember one person. That one person, because I think I may have mentioned them in a different stream, and yeah, no, they were also in that party favors and stuff like that, and I don't know that. Yeah, my bag in particular had nothing. He gave me a fucking bag with nothing in it. So yeah, what the fuck? I'm gonna have to interrupt the stream.
Hey, Chat GPT.
What the
Hey there, how's it going?
what is this?
I did something
Why
really
does he look
bad.
like an alien?
I'm really sorry to hear that you're feeling this way. Do you want to talk about it? I'm here to listen.
Oh yeah, it's this guy.
Yeah.
I'm here for you. Take
You know what? Let me watch that later. Late night walk in New York City. Goodbye 2005. Weird. Remember being this kind of kid. Yeah. Oh wait, no, I was this kind of kid. I think that was a woman. Oops. Yep. That's how I was. Back at that point. Is he playing with the calculator? Wait, no. There's no way. Okay, I'm gonna have to. Oh no, that's a PDA. I wanted one so bad. I literally like I went to Sam's Club and saw like a personal digital assistant. I was like telling my parents like I want this for my birthday. Like back in the 5th grade. That was around like 2005. Yeah, and then like they did they did promise it to me, but then they saw the price and they were like no. It was like I was so sad. So they got me like a $10 one from Walgreens. Yeah, that was a letdown. Oh well. That's why I wanted one because like you could play games on it. Of course I would end up getting like a Game Boy. So yeah. Ah, on to 2006. Yeah, I don't know why. Like, why does YouTube do this? Like, literally sends people to random videos. Like, it literally just like places or recommends, like, gives us recommendations to like random family memories. Oh boy, I don't know what this means. Hmm. Okay. You know, who is Bobby Cole? Oops. Do I really have an. Oh my god. I guess political candidate? Yeah, but I don't know if he's a Republican. Nope. No, he's not. Okay. But I don't want to, like, put my hopes into, like, a Republican candidate because, like, I'm sorry. I've been this. I mean, a Democratic candidate because I feel like I'm, like, at the point where I'm done with Democrats. I just am.
What is up?
I'll watch that later. Okay, this is so weird. Wait, this is like these dudes literally put up a video like trying to discredit the Beringia theory. So I have no idea why they're talking about the indigenous peoples of China. Mm. Because the indigenous peoples of China are apparently related to me as a Filipino. And also like my 23andMe results are literally just like you're like Southern Chinese, you're Southern Indian, basically like a bunch of people who um traveled all around the sea. He's so cute. Maybe I should open up a Substack. I mean, I do have one, but I don't do anything with it. That's the problem for me. What the actual fuck? I I don't think I'm supposed to be streaming this. Holy shit. I'm okay. Well, that was weird. Yeah, so I think I think I'm gonna let my ADHD like take a break and just watch that video. But before that, I'm gonna sign into my password manager because I have been working on my website for like the entire day. I had no idea that I was even gonna try the stream like today, to be completely honest. But then I realized like, okay, I can either stream today and throughout the weekend, or I can stream tomorrow after what could end up being a very long day and be too tired to stream on the weekend. So I just chose like streaming today, this overnight. Maybe I should like use a more appropriate title. Close. All right. So here's my website that I've been working on. Um, I basically introduced a bunch of like features. You know, I wanted to get like a fancy, add in like a visitor counter. I wanted to see if there was like a way for me to do with that. Um, but also like not. I, I don't even know what my vision is. It's just that I wanted to make it like accessible to a lot of people. Okay, I don't know why this is not like showing the full. I know for a fact that my RSS feed for that blog should have way more than that. That's crazy. Okay. Well, I guess I can take a look at what's going on there. But I'm proud of this in particular because like I literally made these art pieces. So this is literally just code. Yeah, this is the first code piece. You can save it as an image though. Yeah, basically like these two are like sort of a copy paste. However, I did randomize the colors. Yeah, for the third one as well as I think for the fourth one. Oh wait, no, I switched. Yeah, I switched like. Okay, I guess I can do that real quick. But yeah, I like switched the images. Oh wait, never mind. What the hell did I do? Yeah. Yeah, so basically the idea is here is that like for these two pieces, basically, yeah, you're supposed to just like take a look. If you like what you see, you save it. Yeah. I mean, basically, that's what it is. You save it if you like it. I like this, for instance, so it's like I can save it and then do whatever. Or here, this is the one I like, so I can save it or whatever. Maybe I could like mute it a little bit. Cause it is kind of crazy that I have like the entire thing. Like what the hell? Yeah, because I've always been told like you do too much with like your creative stuff. You know what? Wait a minute. I can do this while watching the video. So let me do that.
Aw, yeah. I'ma mess it all up. You are moldy rice! Hey everyone, it's Stars. Today I'm gonna be finally returning to look at some more fun personal websites. I'm super excited to show you guys some. So we're gonna jump straight into things. Let's go. So here's the first website. This is rice.place, and I actually found this website like a really long time ago now, and I wanted to show it on the second part of this little, website showcase thing. I've been saving it for this video, so I'm finally gonna be able to look around. I'm so excited because it looks so cute here. I love the graphic, like, filter of this site. I'm going to sleep. You sleep too when you're tired, okay? That's a good advice. I really love like how like graphic everything looks, and these little like keychains are so adorable, and like I don't even know what this is. Oh, feel free to look at my code, but please, pets are adorable. You should go outside somewhere, have some
They
fun.
used
Good advice.
Neko
Let's
Web.
go look at the profile. My name is Rice, not really, but for this lore it's Rice. I was born in the year 1998. You can do math. I'm Asian American, proud to be Virgo, not a horoscope girly. Go away. Just a shorty who prefers from being broke all the time. Oh, who suffers
Same.
from being broke all the time. My pronouns are she, her, or whatever y'all want. I don't give a freak, to be honest. I'm the web mistress of the site. It's a very personal site, and I do plan to have this long term until something happens or whatever, lol. I can't say I love coding, but I do enjoy it. I'm only a beginner, so give me some slack. Be not afraid of other hobbies than coding. Wrong then. Most of the time it's money spending. But I try to keep myself busy with things I love. That's good. Oh my gosh, I love when
Happens a lot
websites
to me.
have a good like about me section that has, stuff about themselves, because I know that some people may think that the art you make, random fun facts about yourself, whatever, like it's fun, trust me. So that would be my little piece of advice. If you are looking to make your website and you don't know what to add, or if you should put an about me section, just make one, because it is seriously so fun. Also, let's go look at, cute little blog, the original Rice lore. Let's do intro. Oh wait, this is the intro. Let's do 3-day weekend. Excited for this 3-day weekend because my older brother and sister-in-law and my nephew are coming over for the Memorial Weekend. Yay! Also, I like this font because it kind of almost looks like handwriting, but it's like very clean. I like this font. Okay, I'm not gonna look into the blogs for too long because I don't feel like reading out a person's blog in a video is very appropriate all the time. But I do love looking at people's art because that is always fun. So this is really cool. The faces are super symmetrical. This feels like the symmetry tool, but very cool art. I actually really love how big and shiny and detailed the eyes are. Super cool. And these graphic designs are really awesome. That one's really cool. Let's see one more page, and then we can look at some other links. We can jump around. I love jumping to different websites. Let's look at projects. Ooh.
Oh my god.
What's this?
Wait.
Tabs.
What the hell?
A little bit different here. Hello, welcome again to
Why
this
do I have two of
well-crafted
these?
website coded by the web mistress. The site is a personal site that will include blogging and interests on my hobbies and daily life, as well as cute internet web rings and fan cliques. Wait a minute. Oh, this is not very finished, but this is cool. This feels like a tiny little web browser. Oh, and it's gone. There's a rice quiz. Okay, we're taking the rice quiz. Welcome to the rice personality quiz, where you get to find out what kind of rice you are. Oh my god, I am so excited for this. Do you even like rice? Yes, I do like rice. How do you cook your rice? What's the very traditional way? I cook my rice in like a pot. I boil the water and then I cook the
Same.
rice. I don't know if that's traditional, but we'll just say traditional. I don't wash my rice actually. I don't really do that. Maybe I should. I feel like I should now. I'm being pressured into washing my rice. Also, my webcam is probably super overexposed right now because
really
this
is.
page is so bright. I'm so sorry. When you're done washing the rice, how do you measure the water? I just GG it. Yeah. When you're done making rice, what do you eat it with? None of these? Well, probably some sort of meat and I don't know I don't, not bok choy, but definitely some sort of meat. What utensils do you eat rice with? Honestly, it can be either of these, not hands, but spoon, fork. I mean, maybe spoon. I'll say spoon. You have leftover rice. What do you do with it? Put it in the fridge. Who would throw away leftover rice? Come on now. Lastly, what do you store your rice in? A bucket. Large container. Usually some sort of Tupperware. I am ready. You are moldy rice. You're a annoying person sometimes. You seek validation but end up as the laughing stock. You're trying to be a better person though.
Damn.
What? This is horrible. I feel so sad now. I
That's
guess
so
I'm not very good at making
disrespectful.
rice. Alright, let's move on. Let's actually head over to give me buttons and stuff. Where are the buttons? Oh, other cool humans. Okay. Let's go to maybe Julie. Julie.lol. July.lol. Ooh, this looks cool. This is giving me a little bit of a cyberpunk vibe. Let's check it
Neat.
out. Welcome, you've arrived at my website. This is where I like to show the stuff I've worked on, talk about anything that's on my mind, and anything that I enjoy. Bear in mind that this website is always under construction, and some pages may or may not work. Okay, I'm excited. Ooh, buttons. I will be returning to this. I like that they have music here. This is fun. I really want to add some music stuff to my website personally because
Same.
I just love talking about music, guys. I really do. Why are people buying poop on the internet? That is a really good question.
Wait, what the hell?
Okay, let's see. My name is July or Stellar on other platforms. I'm a big fan of space.
Oh wait, hold up. Does this display, is this audible? Oh my god, it is. Yeah, sorry. That's my that's just like a sound effect. That's part of my website.
I love space and cyberpunk, and retro/cassette futurism styles. I'm a huge fan of Porter Robinson. Ooh. I also enjoy learning American Sign Language as I'm currently in school for it and plan to become an interpreter. That's so
Ooh,
awesome.
nice.
What? I like listening to music, spending time with my wonderful girlfriend, and playing lots of video games, especially VR. Wow, they seem like a really cool person. I like this, especially since they like space and cyberpunk. Those two things I feel like work really well together.
Oh, they do.
I love this so much. The site looks so
Cowboy Bebop.
cool. It literally reminds me of the website layouts that you can visit on Cyberpunk 2077, like in the computer. Ooh, wait, they made a music player? July's music player. This is my music player that I wrote with very little knowledge of JavaScript. Oh, how
Nice.
cool. Wait, oh wait, this is probably the music. Oh, so you can probably add it to your website. Wow, that's actually so cool. What? Yeah, you can use this as well on your own websites probably, which is so awesome. Let's see, stuff. We have some
Wait, let me go there.
web rings. Solar system test? What? How cool.
Oh, that's neat.
I don't know what to do. Okay.
I don't like the
That's cool.
flashing, but
You know, this website may not have too much on it just yet, but there actually are some really cool projects, which is cool. But yeah, I like this one as well, just because of how, like, it just looks so aesthetically
It's pretty
pleasing to
neat.
me, especially since it's cyberpunk themed. Yes. Okay, let's go to
I mean, I don't like the flashing, but like it is cyberpunk.
Polygon.dev. Ooh, look at this. I like the colors. The gray and pink color scheme, I love. Read before you proceed.
Ooh.
Okay.
Webmaster
Okay.
is
Let's go user, because I'm not Poly, so I don't know if I should click on that. Whoa!
Same.
Wow! Wait, this is so cool. What is this?
Oh, wait, what the
They have
hell?
like a whole little desktop and a freaking.
That's
My
crazy.
brain currently exploding. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is my little website, Polygon. And here you'll find stuff about
You're
me
not
and
the
my interest,
computer.
as well as
Come
my
on.
projects and OCs.
Aw, man.
I'm Apollo, a games dev student who enjoys playing games and reading stuff. I also have millions of interests and into way too many things. Feel free to explore around, and I hope you enjoy your stay. Oh, wait, I want it back. Come back. No!
That's crazy.
Wait, welcome. This is so cool. The code here on my site is meant to be shared. Feel free to get any code if you need anything. How awesome! I love this so much. Okay, let's close. We'll minimize. And the webcam.
You should probably
oh my
do
God, I'm on
that.
call with Polly
Just why
right now,
not?
guys. This is freaking awesome. Okay, I'm gonna disconnect Polly. Sorry. There's like a freaking oh.
Flashbang.
Don't click on that. Wow, this is so.
Oh.
Oh my God! What? Guys.
Oh, this is crazy.
This might be the coolest one ever. Dude, I can make art in the freaking Polygon website. Hold up. Wait, I'm going to draw myself. Oh no, wait, I didn't. Man,
Not
hold on.
mobile friendly. Yeah, I see.
Get my purple. I need my purple. Undo. I'm gonna draw myself. Oh god. Oh god. I wonder if I can actually use my Wacom and just draw. That would be a fun freaking challenge.
Oh yeah, this one.
Okay, some eyeballs. Okay, yeah, that's what my eyeballs look like. And then, boom.
Oh,
Emo
neat.
hair. And cat face. Oh,
But I don't
yeah,
want all
that's
that.
me, guys. Drawing on the Polygon website right now. This was so freaking cool.
I feel like something
I hope
just
that they can see
happened
this
to my
somehow. I
audio.
hope that it logs what people draw, because I
Because now I'm like sounding
oh yeah, this is so amazing. I'm actually
like
gonna
my
come
lag
back
is
here
like
and
so
see if I can
bad.
make some real art on that. Okay, let's see. Webcam,
That's weird.
snake,
Okay.
Tetris. Oh, dude, this is so freaking cool. Okay, I'm actually I'm not gonna play that, but okay. Let's see. About. Yes, I want to read. How pretty is this? Oh, so
Oh, that is
cute.
pretty.
Okay. Oh my god, this is amazing. Oh, dude, I'm so excited about this website right now. Name Apollo 18. He, him, from. I don't know what
Sim with
flag that is.
Palestine.
That's embarrassing.
Nice.
Hey there, you can call me Apollo, Polly, or by my website name, Polygon. I'm currently a game dev student who likes to dabble into web design from time to time. I love playing story-driven games, anything fantasy, novels, games, anything, RPGs, and the
Like
code.
this is what I always struggle with. It's like these people, they have their authentic style of like making art, making designing. In me, it's like I always want to copy someone else because I'm like, okay, well, maybe not copy. I always want to make something different, but I don't really know like what my personal style is, and that's always something that I've struggled with. Like on one hand, yeah, I'm adaptable, highly adaptable. I can literally like make anything if I give myself enough time and resources. But the rough part is that I don't really spend enough time like exploring my personal style. Like this is a vibe. this is what the fuck. Right? So it's like it's kind of weird, right? Oh, I still need to change that. That's crazy. Now let me keep playing the video.
Drawing, coding, and making coffee are some of my hobbies. Oh yeah, nice. I like. Despite having a really upbeat way of typing on the internet, I'm actually socially awkward and introverted, so my
Same.
social battery drains really quickly. That is so relatable. I might suck at replies, or maybe I
Definitely.
won't reply at all. Sorry for any slow replies to DMs. I'm really grateful for all the nice stuff people say to me. I just suck at replying. That is so
Same.
me. That is so me. I really like talking to people though. This is like, dude, this I can literally.
No, I
copy and paste
literally
onto
like
my own website, and it would be completely accurate. I've always wanted to have a website of my own. Around 2017.
just post YouTube videos and I don't even like read the comments until like a year later.
I was introduced to HTML for the first time. I absolutely enjoyed it and made my own personal website, Polygon.
I'm just like, oh, there's
First, it was a bit more
nobody
professional,
watching
so
this
only
stuff.
the projects and illustrations I made. Same with my website. Hello. But now it's more personalized as I tend to move away from major social media platforms. Same, dude. What?
I wish.
Why are we like having the same sort of thing right now? Anyway, social
I wish personally, but I got like monetized on. That's because I love like sharing memes on there. That's all I do. Like when I'm on that platform, it's just like meme after meme, and I don't even care that like I have I think right now I have over 20 notifications. And the last time I looked at that damn app was like 2 or 3 hours ago. And and like the notifications are of course always like, I think yeah, it's like different posts that I made, different like comments. Yeah. Okay, my moment of distraction is up, but I do need to charge this phone. Let me do that. Replay the video and do something real quick, cause I think I need to charge my other pair of headphones, cause I might have like a longer call later today. I mean, right now it's like almost 3 a.m., but like in the evening, yeah. But let me replay this.
I feel smart living with how people can't express themselves through their profiles. Having my own site feels liberating. So true. That is so true. Polygon is here to show some of my projects and to talk about my interests, and most importantly, to show my OCs to people. Yes, same. This is literally like, this can be literally my own website bio. What is this? I love them all dearly. I think people should see my OC verse. OC verse. Okay, wait. I'm actually gonna explode. Okay, the character that you always see in my site is my mascot Flan. He started off as an Arknight's OC of mine, but now he's my mascot for pretty much anything online. I love him dearly. How awesome, dude! This is so freaking cool. Is this one of their OCs? Is this like one of those plushies you can make of your characters? Because I've always wanted one of those. Oh my god, this is so cool. Okay, I need to see if am I into any of these? No. No, I'm not. Well, that sucks. Okay. Do I know any of these characters? No, I do not know any of them. Do I know any of these visual novels? I don't really go. No, I don't. Any manga, manhwa, novels? I'm not really into this anyways. So no, I don't know any. Aw, man. Aw, poop. Okay, let's see games. I have played Final Fantasy 14 for like a week. That's about it though. I don't know. I don't even watch any of these movies or TV. Oh, that's a shame. That's okay. The website. No, I do not know any of them.
I'm trying to see. Do I know any of them? Nah, I doubt it.
Know any of these visual novels? I don't really go. No, I don't. Any manga, manhwa, novels? I'm not really into this.
Bluey. Okay, I won't judge. That house? I'm not sure.
Anyways, so no, I don't know any. Aw, man. Aw, poop. Okay,
Law
let's
and
see
Order
games.
is like
I
a
have
show
played
that
Final
I
Fantasy
only
14
expose
for like
myself
a
to
week.
if I forget to
That's
turn the
about it
TV to a
though.
different channel.
I don't even watch any of these movies or TV. Oh, that's a shame. That's okay. The website and I think the OC thing is probably where
Yeah.
this person and I kind of are similar. But that's so cool. I love the UI of this about section. So cool. Oh my, you can move it all around and stuff. Oh
Yep.
yeah. Oh yeah. I'ma mess it all up. Okay, let's see. I want to look at the OCs. Yes, give me the OCs right now. Right now. Chronicles of Veldrin's Heroes and Citizens. Ooh, this is like well organized and stuff. Okay, okay, purple hair. Hold on. Courier. Character overview. Courier's younger brother. Ever since he was a child, he has always been reserved and gentle with his words. The exact opposite of his older sister, which is why most people find him boring and distant. He works as an advisor for a noble family. That's so cool. This is so, wow, this is so nice. And then you have like the reference. Wow, that's so cool. Oh, dude, this is so well made. First of all, I love this art style. What a beautiful design as well. Oh my god, I'm just in love. Okay, this is so cool. For like an OC section layout, this is nice. very organized. You get to see all their sort of everything. You just get all of this stuff. Oh, 2 days away from my birthday. Freaking awesome. I love this. I would totally take inspiration from this if I were to kind of revamp my own OC section, because it's definitely not this organized. Absolutely love it. I love this so much. Let's go to art. I want to see their art, of course. Gallery. Let's look at Polly's art. Ooh,
Neat.
this is so cute. It's so soft. The colors are so nice. Beautiful. Really good. Oh my gosh. I love this website. And the layout of this freaking
Oh,
page.
that's why
Oh,
the blog's
yeah,
like
my art
that.
is still there.
Oh, I really have that
Projects.
many entries.
Ooh. I want to go to completed. Heyworth is a game primarily
Let me
about grief.
redeploy.
Noah's closest companion Abel has died. Visit Abel's hometown and relive the moments the two have spent together while traveling, and perhaps witness Noah turn his grief into strength.
Like,
Why-
this is like
Oh,
way
this is-
beyond
no.
what I'm
That
gonna
sucks.
like
Okay,
wanna try.
well, we probably wouldn't
try
have
to
time to
make,
play a
but,
whole
like,
game anyways, or like
it is
I don't know
very
if it's supposed
interesting,
to be
I
a
will
game.
say.
Maybe it's like a visual novel or something. But this is so cool. I can't believe how much stuff this website has.
No, like, seriously,
it's
what the
so,
hell?
like simple on the home screen, but there's so much.
Like,
And I
clearly-
love it. There's even a
clearly
blog,
there
which
at
again,
that,
I probably
yeah.
won't read. But this is so pretty. I love every
That's a
single
pretty ass
page.
blog. Like, seriously, what the
different?
hell?
Which I really love, but it's so pretty. All of them are so pretty. I loved
Like, everything is
this
beautiful. What the hell?
website. Probably one of my favorites that I've ever seen, honestly, because it's just so cool. Okay, let's see if they have like a links. Oh my god, in the guest book, people are making art and posting.
Oh, and they're from the Philippines, of course. They're Filipino. Of course, that's why they're an
Oh, here.
overachiever.
Okay, let's see.
And I know
we'll go to
that
our
because that's
website.
how I fucking am.
Seraphim. This might be fun. Ooh, this one looks like it's gonna be kind of
18-year-old.
like fantasy
Wow.
themed, which I love. Of course,
Holy shit.
I love cyberpunk, but I also love fantasy. Don't get me wrong. Okay, how do I go back? Ooh, here we go. Okay, I was in the wrong place.
Wait, I might be
Whoa,
this
This
thing.
is beautiful. I love the like theme, the soft purples. Oh my, this is so cozy. Into the lilac wood. After a long journey, you finally made it through the wood and found
Neat.
the fawn's cottage. Oh, a visitor. Hello, weary traveler. Welcome to my cottage. It's always so wonderful to have guests. I am called Lettuce, and welcome to Wisteria Hollow. This quiet village is my little corner of the web, my little space where I post whatever makes me happy, like my art, current hyperfixations, and more. This is giving me like imagery of if I were to wander into like a digital forest and then into a really cozy digital cottage, and this is what it looks like. The wedding? Oh my god, someone's having a
Oh,
wedding.
this is what I
Freaking
wanted to
cool.
do.
Clap. No.
Yeah, I definitely want to like do something like have a landing page like this. Yeah, I think my problem might be the fact that like I am focused on I'm just like so focused on getting the design right. Like regardless of the platform, right? If I go to my should I use my big phone or should I use my newer but smaller phone? Maybe my newer but smaller phone. Yeah, because this is what I'm focused on, like making sure that this like actually like where would the best oh wait, no. It's not readable. And I mean like legible. Oh, wait. Oh, never mind. Yeah, it won't be like legible in here until I do like a face centric. Oh, what the hell? What is this? I don't want to play with this. I don't want this here. No, I do not want it there. That's nuts. Why is it there? Again, no. All right. It's either in Replit or in my Hostinger account. I just can't find it right now. But like I need to find it because it's just like, okay, I need to give myself like a video project again to do and deal with. Yeah, maybe I should like, you know what? Yeah, let's continue the video and then I'll like temporarily.
Clap.
Oh wait, no.
Yay!
From this view,
Urban fantasy.
yeah, I forgot. From this
Setting
view,
through the portal to find
my
yourself
screen
in the
does
endless
not show up.
forest. This one, however, is decidedly more
So
modern.
that's good.
Tall buildings and train tracks and people on cell phones. What is that? This is a world that I've had in the back of my mind since late high school / early college. It's actually started as a story within a story, and originally I wanted to make a place it in Japan. Oh, I wanted to place it in Japan. But now it's in
Yeah.
the Midwest, a place I
Oh.
admittedly am more familiar with and comfortable portraying. Oh my god. Wait, this is so exciting. I don't even know like what this is for. I need to read more about this place. Oh wait, School of Magic? Ooh, lunar magic.
As
That
long as
sounds
it's not
up
Harry
my
Potter.
alley. If I had magic, maybe it would be lunar magic. Vote. Ooh, what is transmutation? Oh here, about the fawn. This reminds me of like MS Paint. Maybe it is made in MS Paint, but it's really nice. Hello, hello! I am Lettuce, the web mistress of the site and the caretaker of the Lilac Wood of Wisteria Hollow. I'm a shy, extroverted being with far too many hobbies, and I love making new friends. I have a deep hatred of capitalism, hell yeah!
Same.
And a deep love of walkable communities, hell yes! I like creating art and stories. I love curating and tending to this website. I hope you enjoy your time here. For more about me, try these links. Let's go to favorites, color. Pink and purple, yes.
Oh shit, I did find it. I
Cool.
found it.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
these are all really good foods. I like them all too. Or near a friend you made an orientation. And sit
Oh,
down
I
and start
forgot
to
I
take
did
notes
that.
or doodles. On
I did that.
or doodles on the lecture. How kind of you to join us. I am Professor Nimbus, and I will be teaching you about the Fae this semester. Please take a look at the syllabus. Oh my god. There's actual lessons and stuff. Wait, this is so... Okay, the thing I love about this
I'm kind of
site
excited
is
because
that
like
it's like a role play. It's like a
I've
role play.
I
okay?
rediscovered
This is
my
so
own
freaking
website.
Creative. I love this so much. It makes
Okay,
me feel
let's
so
stop.
immersed. And then you actually can like read about Fairy 101. Oh my dude, what? I'm gonna read about this now. What? This is so cool. Fairy punk. Fairy punk. Okay, hold up. Hold up. This is
I forgot how long I spent on this thing.
I am so excited.
It was like 2 years
oh my
ago.
God, I'm gonna become a fairy, guys. If you see me in the next video with wings, you will now you know why. Okay, this
Oh,
is
I
so
am having
cool.
fun.
I feel so happy.
I'm gonna have fun with
This
this
website
thing.
is so happy. This website makes me feel so happy. Oh, they draw. Yes, the gallery turning into another
Ooh.
wing. How big even is this cottage anyway? See, it's so cool. Now you find yourself in what seems to be an art museum of sorts. Oh, okay. Let's see. Ooh, 2011. Oh my God. It's a big backlog. The 2024 gallery is a bit whimsical, with walls painted like clouds and shades of periwinkle. It feels like a drift and in flux, as was the artist in that year. So interesting. Oh, the art is so cute. What? Oh, I love this.
That's actually adorable.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this is so pretty. Their art is so pretty. Dude, this
A little
is
too
so
adorable for me,
cool. When I was first
be
starting out
honest.
with my art, especially when I was like doing stuff in my sketchbook primarily, I was super inspired by fantasy back then. That was like my main thing that I was really into before I even got into sci-fi and cyberpunk all that much. So I was doing so much fantasy stuff, and these sort of sketchbook doodles really reminded me of like my old art. Obviously these are like 10 times better than my old art was because yeah, but it just has that like
What was my?
fantasy magical flair that
I
makes
am
it
trying to look at my design language and it does not exist. It's like, wow. What the fuck did I do? That's nuts. Okay. Oh wow. Yeah, so I'm only going to like show the ND version because just in case I don't want to like give anyone a seizure. So that would suck. Really. me being poetic. Funny. I literally just like use my artwork, random ass artwork, to like my abstract artwork. Yep, my camera once again. Wait, does it like simultaneously use it while? Yep, that's crazy. Like you can literally see. Well, I guess you could see. Now you can see it again. Yeah. This is weird. I don't know what was going on in my head, but I think I was like really depressed. And so I guess this is like the perfect time to come back to this type of thing, because like yeah, my depression is kind of coming back. So it's like, okay, well, cool. Opportune timing. Okay, let me stop doing that. All right, and then I lost my mouse. What the fuck? I lost my mouse, seriously. Okay. Then this was the previous one. All right, I'm gonna try to find like yeah, exhibit Fornesus. Yeah, I'm going to try to find like where I stored the files, and then I'm gonna try to like use it, like not use it, but like open it up or whatever. Or I might like try to import it. I don't know if there are like storage limitations. There might be though. Storage limitations. I don't think I spelled any of that right. On Replit. Okay, but like I have a hacker plan. I think it's a hacker plan. Oh wait, is it?
Really love to draw, so it makes me feel so nostalgic for some reason, like just for my own art, but it's someone else's, which is yeah. Oh, this is so cute. Oh my gosh. Pretty. Sketchbook ideas.
Let me
Cool.
hide
I
my
love
info.
this.
Sorry.
Stick stuff in it. Like stickers, diddles you did on other paper, washi tape, yes. Fill a page with flour sacks. Draw from life, do some sketches of your room, your train car, your desk, your friends. Do some style swaps, do a meet the artist, ooh, fun. Do an outfit breakdown of your OC or favorite character. Oh, these are really fun ideas. I like that. Okay. That's probably all that I'm gonna look at for this site, but I freaking love it. This
Wait, what
site
the
I'm
fuck is
totally gonna add
this?
to my favorites. This and probably Polygon, and maybe the Cyberpunk one that I forgot the name of. July something. These are
Oh my
so
God, I don't
cool.
even-
I love them so much. You guys should definitely go check out all these websites. They're amazing. Oh my god, it's been already so long since I did my last website tour video, and I missed it. I forgot how fun it was to just look at these sites. There's so many amazing ones out there. Like, dude, this is crazy cool. I highly recommend that you guys, if you're bored, just click on a random personal website and just jump from website to website. It is so
Oh,
much
shit.
fun, and I feel so inspired now. I feel so inspired, not just to work on my own website, but to like do art and write about my characters. It's just very, very invigorating. But yeah, I'm gonna leave all the links to these websites down below. So please do check them out yourself.
That's very
Leave
cute though.
your support to all these website creators, and sign their guest book and stuff. Link them out on your own website if you have one. I think we should just encourage each other to spread the word about all these
I
awesome
mean, like
websites. The
this,
more people know about them, there are just so many that are just hidden in the depths of the internet. I'm slowly gonna find all of them, and then I'm gonna show them to you all. So
like
you'll
that's how
enjoy
it
them
felt
all.
like.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this
It's like
video. If you
right
want to
now,
see
like
me
this
do
is the
some
type
more
of content we
website
have.
showcases like this, leave this video a
I mean,
like.
not
I'll
her,
definitely
she's
try to make
actually
another
fabulous.
one soon. Hopefully sooner than the last one because that
Yeah,
one.
so like this is the type of content we have, like the Ashton Hall type of shit. And it's just like we took out the whimsy from the internet. We killed it with like Trump being elected and all of that. I don't know. To me, that's just what it seems. And like, of course, like corporatizing every single little thing, every single little aspect of life. Of course, like there's not really gonna be any whimsy left. But yeah, that's kind of just how it felt to me. You know, I love that like videos like this exist. But it makes me jealous. Not gonna lie. I'm gonna watch this one because I don't know. I'm 100% like a leftist, at least by Western standards. Um, Leftism is actually like pretty traditional to Filipino culture. Like pre-colonial Filipino cultures were like well in advance of like Western cultures that colonized them. Like literally having queer people and women and power, all of that stuff was considered to be demonic by the Spaniards that colonized my ancestors, but it was indigenous to my ancestors. So that's just one example. But to get off that tangent, this is a liberal, self-avowed liberal. But she was talking about like how to get out of the far right, basically, because the Republican Party is the far right. Liberals are center right for the most part. That's definitely why they cannot be called like leftists or anything. But it is interesting to watch like this type of like video, in my opinion.
But I never questioned the political leanings of the cult group that my family was in. For anyone who
Okay, let me like
how does one go from
start
working
from the
on
beginning.
Republican presidential campaigns, volunteering for Republican governors, and interning with your local Republican state representative to none of that today? Hi, I'm Liz. I was a former Republican kid. I was on the pipeline to
I also have
Republican
to like take
politics
my medicine
when I
right
became
now, so like
quickly disillusioned with all
yeah.
things GOP, and I abandoned the Republican Party, wandered in political exile for a while, and ended up as your friendly neighborhood liberal as I am today. And no, I did not immediately go from Democrat to Republican. I was an independent for a while. I tend to think of myself as pretty moderate. And if you're looking for how I ended up as a leftist, I'm not a leftist. Surprise. But a lot of people have asked me, how did you go from being a Republican to not being a Republican? Because that is a big change. So today I'm going to jump into that story, tell you all about it. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Liz. I talk about whatever's on my mind. And this has been the most asked question I've been getting lately. How did I end up leaving the Republican Party? How did I get out of the right? I was trained to be a right-wing operative, and I am not. How did that happen? I like to say that I became a Republican when I was 6 years old and George W. Bush was running for president in 2000. I had just moved to Texas. I was in foster care and I had no idea what a president was. I didn't know anything. All I cared about was what was for lunch. But I'm in first grade and our school is voting for president and George W. Bush is running against Al Gore. I didn't know who either of those men were. I had just moved to Texas. And George W. Bush was the governor of Texas at the time, and our first grade class is voting. We're one by one going out into the hall and casting our ballot, and the boys in my first grade class are yelling at each other, arguing about who we should vote for. I'm 6 years old, and someone says, George W. Bush will make us go to school on Saturdays. Not a bad idea for a 6-year-old who is in an abusive foster care home, who doesn't want to be in that home. I was like, another day to get out of their house? Sign me up. The other kid yells, well, Al Gore wants to kill all the babies. I'm 6 years old. Killing babies sounds terrible. So I went out and I voted for George W. Bush. I came home from first grade and I told my foster parents about the school race, and they told me I did a good job, that I voted for the correct candidate because this was a Republican Pentecostal household. The funny thing is, the 3 years I lived in that household, I became very disillusioned with all things Pentecostalism. I firmly believed at 7, 8, 9 years old that speaking in tongues was as fake as one could get. But for some reason, it never dawned on me that the politics of the people running my house were also wrong. And when I was later adopted by a family in a right-wing cult group, the belief systems always bothered me. Like, I always struggled religiously. Like, I always wanted to be an independent woman. I always wanted to make up my own mind. I never wanted to marry the man that my father would pick out for me, which is something I was told was going to happen. But I never questioned the political leanings of the cult group that my family was in. For anyone who hasn't watched my catalog of videos, and I don't expect everybody's watched my catalog of videos, I'm just saying that right here. When I was adopted at age 9, I was adopted by a family who was in the Institute in Basic Life Principles, which is the cult group that was founded and run by Bill Gothard. People are most familiar with that cult group because the Duggar family was also in that cult group, and they promoted them via their TV show 19 Kids and Counting. There is a theory that kids who go through traumatic backgrounds, like foster care especially, tend to latch onto an ideology or a group that provides them the hierarchy in the family that they did not receive when they were a young child. And I agree with this theory to an extent.
I'm gonna
not a
eat something.
psychologist, so this is just my
I'm
own
gonna
personal belief.
change
But for
the
me, politics became that. While my family life was chaotic and
title real
out of
quick.
control, I could latch onto the political system of local politics, state politics, and the hierarchy of politics as a form of found family for me personally. So at 9, 10, 11 years old, I was highly invested in politics. I snuck out of bed when my parents were watching the presidential debate in 2004, and I was super keen that George W. Bush would win re-election. Why? I don't know. I just remember crying when he won in 2004 because I was so happy. What was going on, and how is a child happy that George W. Bush
Funny
won?
thing is that
I'm deeply confused by my own story there.
I did not grow up in foster care, but my parents were heavily for George Bush, even though they couldn't vote. Yeah, growing up, that was the context. Everyone was religious. Everyone was this and that. So even though I didn't grow up in foster care, I can 100% understand where she's coming from.
And my parents were heavily involved in Texas Republican politics. My mom was a member of Eagle Forum, which is a Republican women's group, and we went to every state Republican convention. They were held every 2 years, and from my earliest memories are going to the state Republican conventions in San Antonio and Fort Worth.
Yeah,
and as soon as I could, I knew I wanted to be a Republican delegate to these conventions. You have to be 18 years old and vote in your precinct, and I wanted that. I wanted to be a person who was helping make policy decisions for my state and country. It just really deeply mattered to me because I was a nerd, apparently. I'm not arguing that I wasn't a nerd. I was a huge nerd. And then there is a right-wing funnel group for young people who are invested in politics, and I was funneled straight into that. David Barton was a big speaker who spoke in the homeschool circuit, and he kind of redefined American history from a Christian perspective. Any historian who's worth their salt will tell you that David Barton twists history, but for me, at 12, 13, 14 years old, I was devouring David Barton's books and really admired David Barton. I spoke to him multiple times personally, and I went to as many David Barton meetings that were held in my area as possible. And a David Barton protege, Rick Green, founded an organization called Patriot Academy. And as soon as I learned about Patriot Academy, I wanted to go. It was a week-long political convention in Austin, Texas, at the Texas State Capitol, where teenagers got to simulate governing. So you would go, and if the first through third years, you were a Texas State representative. Third-year students and above were senators. You had to pay for this, so I think I raised $1,500 to go. I spent all my summer money that I earned working a job in our homeschool circle. I had a job at a family farm, and I spent all of that money.
What the hell kind of indoctrination?
Patriot Academy, I cannot tell you the level of propaganda. It was absolutely
Yeah.
insane. Like, I don't remember being taught good legislative practices. I just remember, like, we were filing bills and the bills were crazy. Like, one of the bills I remember arguing with another homeschooler. This bill was, so we would file bills like real legislators, and one of the bills was to not require parents to use seatbelts, like not criminalize parents not using
Sorry.
seatbelts for their children. And as someone who came from foster care, who knew that parents were neglectful, like had neglectful biological, the government has no right protecting children. This is not the government's duty. The government's duty is to protect our civil liberties and our freedoms, and you should have the freedom to not buy a car seat or buckle your children if you do not want to. 18 or 19 years old at this point, and honestly, that should have been a red flag that I wasn't a Republican.
Yeah.
But I thought I was. And I was a Republican. Like, I was a Republican delegate to the state convention. I believed in Republican ideologies of limited government. I remember heavily arguing that the government's job is to protect people. Like if children are going to die, then a parent's freedom to not buy a car seat and buckle their children should not come at the expense of children dying, and people arguing with me about that and thinking that was absolutely, like, these were just crazy kids. To be fair, everybody who went to Patriot Academy was kind of crazy. Some notable alumni at Patriot Academy includes Lauren Boebert.
Oh.
But the level of education at Patriot Academy, I remember one session was on socialism and communism. And we walked into the session, and it was supposed to be teaching us how bad communism was. We walked in, we're in this giant auditorium full of kids. We're sitting there, and the speaker goes, "Socialism is bad," and everybody echoes back, "Very, very bad." That was the extent of the level of intellectual, actual thinking that we
Oh
were
my
doing
God.
about these topics. We were just repeating to the instructor, the speaker, like, socialism is bad, very, very bad. And I couldn't have told you what was actually bad about socialism. Like, I could not have told you why it failed.
To be fair, that's like the extent that like conservative reactionaries know about socialism. They do not know the difference between socialism and communism, for instance. It's kind of funny. But it gets irritating, like, real fast. Like, ultimately, like, the goal is technically the same. But one's, like, way more revolutionary than the other one. To me, I joined, like, the Socialist Party, but, like, I know for a fact that I'm definitely the other one. I just don't want to say it out loud because, well, in this political climate, also, like, my grandfather was like a Navy officer, specially tasked to like kill communists. So I don't know how to feel about that. Well, maybe not kill, but like it was like a communist task force, like basically captured the communists and tried them. And it's like, hi, Grandpa. Sorry, but not sorry.
I was saying, God bless his soul. Rick Green goes, God damn his soul. Like,
Wow.
that was how hateful they were towards anyone who was socialist or communist, without like explaining why socialism or communism doesn't work. And I fully absorbed this. Socialism is a failed system. Communism is bad. So I'm 19, 20 years old, and I firmly believe this. Between the ages of 18 and 20, I was a Republican state delegate, and I was also heavily involved in like Greg Abbott's 2014 gubernatorial campaign. At that time, he was running for Wendy Davis, who in my
That's funny because like around that time I was doing like campaigning for Wendy Davis.
mind was evil because Wendy Davis is most famous for her filibuster
Abortion
of
Barbie.
a anti-abortion bill in Texas. And as a kid who grew up in a very anti-abortion household, I thought Wendy Davis was the epitome of everything wrong in the world. I remember we would have like 40 days of life in the spring, And for 40 days, like every Sunday of those 40 days, we would go outside on the street of our little town and we would hold signs and pray for an hour after church that people would not have abortions. We would go to the annual pro-life march in Austin
Yikes.
every year, and I remember my dad being so upset because more people didn't go to this annual event. There were like 3 pillars of what made being a Republican to me like stand when I think of my childhood and like what was a Republican. A Republican was someone who is anti-Obama, the Tea Party, anti-Obama, Obama's the devil, Muslims are trying to take over America. That was definitely a pillar of being a Republican.
Yep. You have to be racist, basically. Well, you don't have to be racist necessarily, but you have to be okay with racism. There's a difference. Okay, maybe not.
2, Republicans are anti-socialism, and 3, Republicans are pro-life and anti-abortion activists. That made up what the Republican Party was. But I'm also at the same time being exposed to other people's experiences and starting to wind those into my worldview. At 19 years old, I was working at a Christian summer camp, and some of the other camp counselors were Hispanic. And as I was working with them for the week, I found out that a lot of them were undocumented. They were brought to the United States when they were children. And at this time, DACA was a heavy conversation.
Yes, it was.
And Congress was failing to pass DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, which would guarantee these kids legal status. We're the same age. I'm 18 or 19 years old at this time. My fellow camp counselors are also 18 and 19 years old. And I learned that a lot of them would not be able to go to college because of the immigration system and how they
Yeah, and they recently took that away. A few months ago. Well, no, not even a few months ago. That was like last month. They took away the ability for undocumented students to be able to go to college. Yeah. This place sucks.
did not have the proper paperwork because they were brought here as kids. And I was just appalled by that. I thought that was absolutely terrible. Like, these kids should not be punished because of like a broken immigration system. It's not their fault that they were brought here as kids. And just because I happen to have been born in North Carolina, I somehow had more access and privilege to an education, and I was getting excited to like apply for college and like have a future. And I never had to think, oh, I don't qualify for a passport or a driver's license, while these kids I was working with, the same age as me, were dealing with that and were like fearful of getting deported. And I thought that was absolutely terrible. And I went home to my parents and I was like telling them about this, and my parents agreed, yeah, that is terrible, but the president should not have the executive authority to fix it. Like, passing DACA from President Obama is a bad thing because that should be an act of Congress. And my response to that is, well, why?
Yeah, exactly. But this is where she splits from her parents.
Doesn't Congress go out and fix the laws? And I was never given a clear answer why Congress would not fix the laws. And from that point on, I realized that I did not care if people came to the United States illegally. I just wanted there to be a legal path to citizenship for everyone. Like, I did not agree with deporting people. I did not agree with building a wall. This is in 2014. This is around the time that DACA is passed. I don't remember the exact year that happened, but I remember my fellow Republicans saying, oh, this is bad, like, the president shouldn't do this. And my response is, well, if the president shouldn't do it, Congress, which is Republican at this point, should go out and change the law and allow these people access to the same privilege that I have. Like, no one should be denied access to an education because they don't have the right
Absolutely.
paperwork, basically.
Still applies
And
today.
19 years old, I was really upset by that. Like, my whole life, I had dreamed of going to college, and I could not imagine that dream being taken away because I moved to the US when I was a kid, and I just had this, like, sense of injustice. And I also was heavily Christian at the time, and the Bible very clearly states you should not punish children for the sins of their parents. That was like a biblical principle that I knew. And when it came to US law, I was told, like, our laws are based on the Bible. That was what David Barton taught in all of his history classes. That's what Rick Green said at Patriot Academy. So if our laws are based on the Bible, then our laws should be pro-immigration, pro-children. Like, they should be pro-helping the poor, because that is written into the scripture. Like, the number one requirement of leadership in the Bible is to be kind to the foreigner and to be kind to widows and orphans. And if that is the number one requirement in the Bible, isn't that what our leaders should be doing who claim to be Christian? That was what I believed at 19 years old. And as I went to college, the 2016 presidential campaign was right around the corner. So as a young Republican, I am looking for a presidential candidate who will do that, who will endorse policies that are good for immigrants, good for children, and will make America better. That is what I was looking for in a presidential campaign. And I knew that I wanted to work for a Republican presidential campaign because I'm young. I'm 20 years old at this point, and I am excited for the 2016 presidential election. My first election that I ever voted in was Mitt Romney's election in 2012. I did not vote for Obama. I voted for Mitt Romney. That was the very first election I ever voted in, and I did not like Mitt Romney. I thought he was like boring. Like, I remember not being enthusiastic about Mitt Romney and not understanding why we cared as a Republican Party to rally around this guy who seemed like toast. Like, he seemed like as interesting as butter on toast. And in 2016, I was looking for a candidate who would be inspiring, who would bring the party together, and who would also fight for immigration reform, because I really did care about immigration reform. That experience of working with those camp counselors and their struggles in the United States as the children of immigrants just really became a part of what mattered to me when it came to politics. And when I looked around at the presidential field, there was a lot of my friends, because I was from Texas, thought I would volunteer for Ted Cruz. They thought I would try to work for Ted Cruz's campaign. But I really felt at this point, this sounds so weird, but I just felt like Ted Cruz was disingenuous. I did not trust him. And I felt like Ted Cruz was just catering to like the angriest voices in the Republican Party, and I did not like that. And at the time, there was an immigration bill in the
While I make my tea. Yeah. Ted Cruz is a lying ass bitch. And he deserves everything that he's been over the past decade and a half, been dishing out and selling out. That's all.
Senate that I thought was a really good immigration reform bill. It's famously called the Gang of Eight immigration bill, and it died in the Senate because of the Tea Party, and I was very, very upset by that. And there was only one person running for president who had been behind that immigration bill and had like put his money where his mouth was, and that was Marco Rubio. When I started college, Marco Rubio, very soon after I started college, announced his run for the presidency, and I immediately knew I was going to vote for him in the Republican primary. So I reached out to his campaign. I knew he had campaign reps on my college campus, and I was like, sign me up. I want to volunteer for Marco Rubio. I don't want to volunteer for Ted Cruz. And at the time, I thought Trump was a joke candidate. I remember the like first debate with Trump and everybody else, watching it and being horrified by Trump, because he was everything I had been taught to.
Kind of funny how things turn out, right? Now Marco Rubio is literally like like he's the one doing the Gestapo style deportations. So yeah, funny how life turns out sometimes, right?
Not be as a Republican. He was crass. He was insulting women. Like, I remember his first comments about Megyn Kelly and just being so disgusted by that. And also, he was anti-immigrant to an extent that I just could not jar with my own lived experience as a Texan who grew up in a state that is shaped by immigration. I just could not fathom a candidate who was so anti-immigrant and seemed to want to demolish our immigration system. I also knew at the time, and I would argue with people, that the majority of immigrants came from overstayed visas. So building a border wall doesn't stop people overstaying their visa. We need a process so that people can apply and not overstay their visa. And also we need to build a process for people who have lived here for long term, who haven't committed criminal acts, to be able to apply and get legal residency here in the United States. And this is 2015, 2016. This is 2015 and late 2015, and I am so upset by Trump's campaign because he's going to do everything anti-immigrant that I that I think the Republican Party should not be. You know, as a Republican, I had grown up admiring Ronald Reagan, and Ronald Reagan had famously like created amnesty for people who had come to the United States illegally. And I was like, why don't, that's our like legacy as Republicans. We are the pro-immigration party. So why are we like rallying behind a man who is so anti-immigrant? I phone banked for Marco Rubio. I volunteered for his campaign. I worked really hard for Marco Rubio back in 2016. I met him multiple times, and funny story, I am working for Marco Rubio's campaign in a volunteer capacity, and he came to Greenville, South Carolina, where I was at school for an event, and so I'm there at the event. I'm in the like bleachers behind.
I was about to say like Big L. Cringe. Wow. That's the best thing that could have happened. For the story's sake.
I was like so horrified. I was like, what? Are you an idiot? This guy is running for president. He is not my boyfriend. But yeah, most people don't know who's running for president a year and a half before the presidential race, apparently. That was a lesson I learned from that.
Yeah.
Anyway, I continue. I remember I phone banked for Rubio throughout the South Carolina primary process. I was registered to vote in Texas, but I was living in South Carolina because of that's where my college was. So I was working in South Carolina to get him elected. He lost the South Carolina primary, and then we pivoted heavily as all of our campaign resources to Florida. So then I'm phone banking for his campaign in Florida. He loses the Florida primary. Horrible for him and for me, because he is from Florida. Like, he cannot lose the Florida primary
Crazy.
and like run for president because that's his home state. So then I'm sitting in my dorm room and he gives his concession speech, and I remember just sobbing because I realized Trump is going to be the nominee at this point. Like, Ted Cruz is not a viable option, and this man is going to be the man running for president. And that is so disgusting to me because he just is not a Republican, in my opinion, at the time. And I was like, I was still a devout Republican. I was like, I will do everything in my power to prevent Trump from taking over the Republican Party. So then we had the Republican State Convention in Texas. I go to the Republican State Convention. I'm a delegate, and I'm just like overwhelmed walking around the convention with all the like Trump paraphernalia and realizing like these people only care about the personality of Donald Trump. I am asked by some friends, like, do you want to run to be a delegate? And like, the Republican Party should not be a party of radicals. Like, radicals don't offer good government to people, and they don't. Like, our government should be about like uplifting the lives of the most unfortunate in our communities. And like serving all of us. And what they're offering is not doing that. And that was deeply rooted in my faith at the time, in my Christian values, and just what I thought
keep saying
made
have
for
at the
good
time.
governance, and what I thought made for good governing. So the convention wraps up, and
She was going on here.
I remember walking, I was like hating people, and I was like, that's not what it means to be a Republican. So I'm going to just back away from Republican politics until Trump loses. When he loses, then I'll get back involved in the party, and the party has learned its lesson. And these like crazy Tea Party people, and I grew up knowing I was intimately familiar with the Tea Party people because my mom was like invested in the Tea Party movement, and I thought, it's just the Tea Party. Like, when things calm down, when Trump loses, the party will go back to what I remember as being a normal Republican Party. So I returned to my college campus in the fall of 2016, and I was very torn. Do I vote for Trump in the 2016 election? Because I'm not a Democrat, so I will never vote for Hillary Clinton. That was my thinking as I walked back onto campus in the fall of 2016. And as I'm on campus, I continue to argue with people because I can't keep my mouth shut to save my life. And we were watching like debates of the 2016 campaign during the 2016 campaign, and Hillary Clinton referred to al-Baghdadi, who was the leader of ISIS at the time. Some people in my college started like laughing and saying, oh, she doesn't even know like Baghdad, how to say Baghdad, the capital of Iraq. And I turned around and I like scolded them, maybe is the word, I don't know. I just said to them, like, y'all don't know what you're talking about. She's a former Secretary of State. Of course she knows the commander of ISIS, and you don't even know what she was talking about because you're so dumb that you don't even. And I was really offended by that because I was not a Democrat. I just thought These people were annoying, very patriarchal, and it was very frustrating to be labeled a Democrat when I was not. Like, I was a card-carrying Republican. Like, I had
Well,
been a
you did
Republican
become
state
one,
delegate
so
for 3 state conventions at this point, I believe. Yeah, 2012, 2014, and 2016. So I was a card-carrying Republican. I was not in any way, shape, or form a Democrat. And when the November election came around, of course, I'm voting in the state of Texas. Of course, it's going to vote red. So I considered, like, do I vote for Trump or Hillary? And I decided, like, the Republican Party needs to know that there are many Republicans out here who do not like Trump. And because Trump is going to win Texas no matter what, I think voting independent will send a signal to party leadership that there are a significant portion of people who are unhappy with Trump as the candidate.
I get
so
it.
I voted independent. There was like a Mormon candidate running, and I just voted for him. He was like,
that like I don't think it was Higgins. I forgot. McMullen? I don't remember.
I don't think it was the Constitution Party or the Green Party. It was just like this random Mormon guy, and people were like, "Oh, he might win the state of Utah."
Definitely was not the Green Party.
Not, but that's who I voted for in 2016. Well, when Trump wins, I was a little shocked. I wasn't sad. I was just like shocked. I was like, wow, that's crazy that like he could win. Like, I didn't think he could win because in my mind he wasn't even like a Republican. He was just a con man who was like taking over the Republican Party, and I didn't think he could win. Like, I didn't think he was a good candidate.
He's not.
So I was a little shocked. I didn't think Hillary was a great candidate. I just thought Trump was a terrible candidate. But I was like, okay, we have good people who won their re-election, like Marco Rubio, so they will keep Trump from being crazy while he's in office. That's genuinely what I thought. I was like, nobody's gonna let him like ruin the Republican Party. They're going to prevent him from like surrounding himself with yes men and doing whatever the heck he wants and like being anti-NATO. Like being Republican is like free trade, pro-NATO. Like that's a pretty basic tenet of being a Republican, like my entire life at this point. At this point, I was just really, really exhausted with Donald Trump, which I think a lot of people can relate to. So I was like, I gotta stop being so like politically engaged. So I tried to take a step back and just like let it happen. I don't even think I watched the inauguration in 2016. I was trying to tune it all out. And then I was like, okay, what's the best way to tune out American politics is to go overseas. So in the summer of 2017, I decided to go to China for the summer. I was working with a group from our college to help incoming freshmen at an international university in Shanghai get accommodated to like an English style classroom. So we were doing like ESL lessons and like basic lessons before they started like a freshman year at an American style university in Shanghai. Best part about this in my mind at the time was I was going to be away from American politics for an entire summer. Like, I was so tired of like people arguing on
It's kind of funny
Twitter
that
and,
you
like,
went to China of all places.
exhaustion of who Trump is and when he's president and what it's like. I just was like, oh my gosh, I am so excited to be done with all this. So I get to China, and of course, remember, from the time I was a little kid, like socialism and communism are the great evils in life. Like, socialism is bad, very, very bad. So I get to China, and it was not bad. Like, yes, the Chinese Communist Party is terrible. Like, it is objectively a terrible political system. But the people living there, they're fine. And what's interesting to me is I'm seeing government work.
Surprisingly, I agree.
High-speed rail. I'm seeing housing for everyone. I am seeing a country functioning under communism. And while I still don't think communism is the answer, I realized communism wasn't the enemy. And my entire life, China had been viewed as like the enemy and communism and all of that. And I just became disillusioned with the entire programming that I grew up with. The fact that like we were fighting communism by being good Republicans, and like we needed Trump in office to fight, you know, immigration and communism. And I'm looking around, I'm like, these people are happier. They have healthcare, they have high-speed rail. High-speed rail is like, wow. I grew up in a Republican-dominated government in Texas that has accomplished very little for the infrastructure of the whole state of Texas. And seeing a country like where the government is actually doing its job really impacted how I viewed a single-party government in the state of Texas.
It's kind of funny, but yeah, no. Infrastructure here is fucking trash. Like, a random ass thunderstorm can take out the power here. And why? Like in China, they have high speed rail. They don't worry about electricity. In the Philippines, they do worry about electricity. That's why I tell my parents, like, we might as well go there. This place sucks. I grew up here and everything, but like, wow. Yeah, it kind of sucks here. Anyway.
Is where I live. In the States, in the US, where one party seems to dominate in politics, we see a failure of good government. And that's what's like extremely frustrating to me, because as a Republican, I was like, we should be the best. Like, if we're gonna say that, like, vote for us, we should offer the best infrastructure, the best education policy, the best policies to benefit the people that live under our leadership. And I'm in China and I'm seeing these people live better than in Texas.
Yep.
Like, they have better roads, they have better access to everything. Now, there are parts I didn't like when my students told me they were assigned basically to become nurses and they had no other option when it came to their education. That seemed bad. I met parents who wanted to homeschool their children, and by homeschooling their children, they knew they would be dooming them to not being able to enroll in secondary education in China. That was bad.
That is bad, but I don't think they do that though. I mean, the first one anyway. The second one, I can believe that. I mean, even here in the US, like, if you are homeschooled, there's still like sort of a stigma. Even here in Texas, so
cameras literally everywhere. Like, the level of government surveillance was incredible to me. Like, I still, to this day, I don't think it's hard to describe. Like, everywhere you look, there was a government operated camera monitoring your existence. In our in the dormitory where we were living, there was cameras, and you walked in the dorms, there were cameras in the hallways, there were cameras immediately outside of your rooms, there were cameras in the elevators. Like, every 6 feet there was a camera that you knew was being monitored by the government. That was not fun. The access to the information was extremely limited. Like, if you need a VPN, something that the government did not like, let's say, for example, a member of my team was unfamiliar with Tiananmen Square, and while we were in Beijing, she wanted to know what we were talking about that had happened there, so she looked it up, and our entire team did not have good internet access. Like, our VPNs were blocked the rest of the week that we were in Beijing. Like, yes, I saw government overreach in action, and that gave me insight into the fact that when the Republicans said Democrats are government overreach, like Obama is trying to make communism happen, I was like, y'all don't know what government overreach is. In fact, I'm living under a system of government overreach, but also government capability, and I'm seeing that's not what life was like under Obama. And like, the fear that Obama was like a communist, y'all are making that up. Like, you're literally lying to me. And so I came back to the United States and I was like, y'all are afraid of something that you don't need to be afraid of. You need to, instead of governing off of fear, you need to govern off of good policy and actually provide people the tools and resources to live a better life. Because somebody in China should not have a higher standard of living than in the United States. And I'm not saying a lot of people in China do have a higher standard of living, but
they do.
Resources that the government provides, like the infrastructure that the government provides, whether it's healthcare or mass transit or housing, it is provided well under the Chinese government. If you've been in power in the state of Texas for 30 years, literally my entire life, and you have not provided good infrastructure that doesn't collapse during an ice storm. If the roads in Dallas, you can't get from one side of Dallas to the other in less than an hour because of massive problems on the interstate, when you could be investing in high-speed rail, that's ridiculous. But instead of investing in good governing and like actually benefiting people, all I saw was a Republican Party that was interested in anti-immigration and following the whims of Donald Trump.
Culture war issues.
And when I came back from China,
for like no goddamn
in
reason.
2017, that's when I was like, that's when I officially realized I'm not a Republican. And when my mom asked me, like, do you want to go to the 2018 state delegate convention? I said, I didn't even vote in the primary, Mom, in 2018.
Oop.
I am no longer a Texas Republican. And my mom thought that meant I was just no longer like a Republican in the state of Texas.
Oh my god.
I didn't want to be involved in Texas Republican politics. But for me, I officially left the party after I returned from China. It probably took me like 6 to 9 months to officially like give up on the Republican Party, but China made me realize that the Republican Party was built on fear mongering and catering, and by that
That's not
point,
wrong.
catering to the personalities.
That is
of one
completely
man,
true.
and it did not offer solutions for average, everyday Americans. When I look back on the Republican Party, there are some things that make me laugh, like how badly I was indoctrinated and how badly I was treated. So, like, one example is I went to Patriot Academy. I came back from Patriot Academy and I went to my local Republican Party and I said, hey, I want to be more involved. I want to help out more. What can I do? Like, how can I work for the party? And you know what they did? They assigned me to run and host our yearly annual dinner, which was really cool that I got to do it. Like at 18, 19 years old, I am hosting a dinner for 300 people. Literally, is that the only thing they could see a woman doing, is hosting a dinner?
It's nuts.
It's just like things like that make me laugh. And like how indoctrinated I was by the Republican Party that I could not clearly see the like sexism.
That's
and
crazy,
things like
actually.
that, of that nature. Just like made me like, ugh. The number one question my mom asks me today is like, how can you be a Democrat when it comes to we raised you to be pro-life? And honestly, when I left the Republican Party, abortion did not cross my mind, which seems extremely selfish. But I am a woman, so I'm allowed to be selfish about not thinking about abortion.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a right that matters deeply to me because I live in a state that severely restricts abortion rights, but it was not a thought that crossed my head in 2018,
Yeah,
2019.
not back then.
When I considered abortion versus non-abortion, I considered the whole life of people and the fact that the Republican Party may care deeply about children before they're born, but the quality of life they would offer in governing in the state of Texas, for example,
Bad.
where I was from and where the Republican Party had governed for 30 years, being a child in the state of Texas, you are less likely to have a good life compared to your parents. Like the policies that the state of Texas has embraced has
Wait,
condemned.
what the fuck is this? Do I take the deal? Do I take the deal? Oh no, no I don't. It's not that cheap. Yeah, I mean for the .com maybe. Maybe I can take the deal. Maybe I should. Maybe I should. Well, I'll prioritize this first.
Children to struggling in upward class mobility more than my
That's
parents'
true.
generation. That is not good. So in 2019, when I'm
Terrible here.
considering like who am I going to vote for in 2020, it was not about abortion, which my mom is still shocked by, but I wanted to think about the holistic life of people and the fact that you are not just a person when you're not born yet, but like what
Hell yeah.
governing policies will provide benefits for your entire life and provide, and like what party is offering good governance for your entire life. The party that is expanding child tax credits, the party that is expanding access to education, the party that is offering good infrastructure. That is what drew me to the Democratic Party. They were fighting for healthcare, they were fighting for infrastructure, they were fighting to make clean energy investments because the children that are born today are going to have to deal with the future that's impacted by climate change. The big policies that drove me out of the Republican Party, 100% immigration, 100% American isolationism, and 100% the fact that the Republican Party seemed, when I left it, to be completely built on the back of lies.
Yep.
That they were
All
protecting us
motherfucking
from
liars.
communism, they were protecting us from an invasion of immigrants, and that Trump was the best person to do all of that. And like, I just, in 2019, I didn't believe any of that. And I still to this day do not believe that. I don't believe America's problems are caused by immigration. I don't believe that America's problems are caused because of the Chinese Communist Party. And I don't believe that Donald Trump is the person that can fix it. I think our policies are caused by an inability of our government to do the job of governing, to make sure that all of us have access to education, healthcare, and housing. And if the Republican Party doesn't offer solutions to education, housing, and healthcare, then they are a failed party. And because I have lived in red states my entire life,
Same.
I have lived in Texas, Florida, and South Carolina. All three of those are states that are completely dominated by Republican policies, and they also deal with massive issues when it comes to education, housing, and affordability. I understand blue states also deal with that, but I live under Republican politics, and if Republican policies aren't providing solutions in my state, I'm going to vote for the opposite of that. If I lived in a Democratic-controlled state, I could understand like not believing the Democrats offer solutions to housing, healthcare, and affordability. But because I live in a Republican state, I'm seeing firsthand the failures of Republican governments, where the state of Florida cares more about banning books in schools than making sure that the state is prepared for hurricanes and that housing insurance prices come down. Anyway, this is a long video, but I hope it answered the question like why I left the Republican Party, why I became a Democrat, and maybe it left you with more questions, because it's not like a 5-part outline of like why I left the Republican Party. I wish it could be as simple as like here's the 5 things that happened, here's the answers that I see in the Democratic Party. Honestly, I see a system that is deeply flawed and a Republican Party that is only interested in securing power and wealth for themselves in a place like Florida, where I live, in a place like Texas, where millionaire oil donors prevent, mass transit from happening. The Democratic Party in my lifetime has been the only party that will actively have candidates speak out against millionaire donors preventing progress. And I hope in 2028 that we see a candidate who is strong against corporate backing, against corporate power, who will fight for the strength of the government to do big things without being weighed down by corporations and mega million donors. Anyway, y'all, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please, this was like a very highly requested video. I hope it lived up to expectations in some way, and
It's interesting.
it was interesting to watch. If you got this
Definitely.
far in the video, let me know. I am thinking about doing a video on Zoran Mandani and like the future of Democratic campaigning, because his campaign was beautiful, so beautiful, and I'm excited to see his campaign as he fights Eric
Is he in the leftist? Okay.
Adams in New York City. That is a video I'm thinking. I also want to do a video on like leftist versus liberals. That's another video I'm thinking about. And let me know any other topic that you would be interested in seeing some commentary or reactions.
I guess you can
or
respect the
thinking
campaign,
out loud
not-
here on the channel. Don't forget to like and
I
subscribe.
mean, you don't
and if
really
want
totally have
join the
to,
channel to become an
like-
exclusive member and get some exclusive content that I'm sharing only with members, and to get more say in like what happens here on the channel.
Yeah, I guess you don't really have to like identify as a leftist to support a leftist candidate. I mean, I certainly think that like the Green Party is too neoliberal. So I still voted for the Green Party candidate back in 2024, so I guess. Okay, let me add the domain names. Emerging, is that what I'm on the? I have like so many different. I know this is like boring. I'm trying to cook here. Trying to cook, but like, oh, shit. Never mind. It's just a matter of my impatience. Okay, Nate. So this should be linkable. It probably won't like do it like yet, but whatever.
Till next time, I'm Liz. I'll see y'all all over the internet. See ya.
My ADHD
Hey
is
everyone,
like
it's Star. Welcome back to
falling.
my channel. Today I wanted to make a follow-up video to my last video on why you should make a website. So hopefully I convinced a few of
Oh
you guys
yeah, I
to
did watch that one. I wonder I was recommended the random web thingy. Oh, I made my website.
Hi, it's me. I'm Shar, and today I'll be showing you how I made my personal website.
Well, I did say that the whole like me watching the politics thing was only gonna be like temporary. But yeah, I mean, that was still fun. Cause oh no, I was supposed to like, yeah, cause I did. I guess I was supposed to be a conservative. Did not work out. It did work out for my brother and other members of my family, but not me. Like I swing so far to the left, like not even funny.
If there's one thing I realized working in web development, it's that everyone uses the same type of layouts and templates for their website.
It's so boring,
Which
right?
makes sense in today's climate, right? A personal website nowadays is just a digital calling card to the point where people kind of just forego having one altogether and choose instead to have a list of links to their socials or things they sell. For me, the thing is, I grew up with a lot of fun websites and I adored them. Surfing the web back then wasn't just scrolling on Twitter or Instagram, and it was more of looking at how people
Oh,
chose
she's
to express
definitely
themselves
Filipino.
in this sort of public digital scrapbook. I even used to have my own back when I was 8, which, by the way, I
I
found
can
out
100% like lock any Filipino. Like it's like an ancestral thing, I guess. But yeah, well, I can say it. I can say it, and it's not racist because that's literally my people. I guess maybe I should change to the software and game development stream. Nah, I don't feel like doing that. Especially since I'm gonna end this stream soon. Like I literally only wanted to stay here for like 2 hours. Yeah. So I guess let's watch this and then I'm out.
it was saved in the Internet Archive, but unfortunately, none of the pages or images load anymore. I remember that was a time where everyone's personal websites tried to be as fun as possible, and I personally had
I missed
small
that
flash
time.
games and pixel art dolls I drew on mine, and a little guest book people could leave comments on. And looking back on that, it made me think a lot about how nowadays websites tend to be very generic
They really
and
are.
even kind of soulless, which feels like a mean thing to say. I'm sorry.
It is mean, but
Let's just say less soul. There's less soul in it. Going back to making my website back in 2023, I was one of the leads for our front-end web dev initiatives, and I decided a way to get some extra practice at home was to create my own personal website again after all of these years. And I ended up with something like this.
ooh, that's boring. That's kind of fun now. I'm trying to collect more information. As a data analyst, that's what I love to do. I knew it. I said. I did say Philippines. Filipino representation is great. I
In
literally
terms of
tried to do
practicing
something
for my
similar.
job, I learned a lot. But what
Maybe
was
not,
more
but
meaningful from the experience for me was that I had a lot of fun and I loved sharing it with friends. As a person who's often online, it felt like I was showing them around my digital home as
Ooh,
opposed to
look my yes, my motherfucking duplicate website worked. Nice. I mean, I don't think this has HTTPS yet. Oh no, it does. Good. Yeah, I just like deployed it because I'm like, whatever. Why not? I'm gonna have to like redesign it though. Clearly, because like this is so boring. Just like this, it's like bam. It's like it's so insidious too. Because like at first you just see like this boring shit, and this like bam, and then another bam, then another bam, then the last bam. All right, and then like you can, and then be like, I hate that prompt, but it does allow like the extra features. I love this. You can set the camera too, though. I think in the settings. Yep, you can be like, you can go there and then like, wait, I'll do like the dinosaur puppet thing that I do sometimes. Okay.
just linking someone my Instagram. It was a website for me. I was my own client. I could do whatever I wanted with it, which
Same.
I guess is what made it so fun. I've gotten a couple emails asking how I went about making this, usually from university students who stumble on my website, and I thought it would be fun
Oh my! I just remembered. Oh yeah, I can do the other domain
to
name
share the
now.
process through a
Nice.
video. And honestly, if it inspires someone else to do something creative and fun, then I think it's well worth it. I think the internet could use a bit more personality and
Hell
a bit
yeah.
more fun. As much as I enjoy doing things on the fly, projects like these do benefit a lot from proper planning, especially when there are so many different moving parts. Although
Not for me. I never make art and plan ahead. I cannot. Because like the spontaneity, that's where my creativity lies. But then again, I have ADHD, so it's kind of self-explanatory why that is the case.
Though I'll be talking about how I made the website from the ground up, I did have to update it a little bit before releasing this video since there were a lot of things I wanted to change. For that, I used Milanote to plan how I'd go about it. Sponsor jump scare.
Yeah, clearly.
But yeah, I do use Milanote quite often for projects that I can't just plan out linearly. Like instead of a to-do list or notepad that goes straight down, I get to project my messy thoughts out into a canvas of sticky notes and images, which makes it easy for me to brainstorm creative projects. Since sometimes, while writing one important thing, I think of another important thing, and I just need to tack it on somewhere. These boards operate like desktops with folders and icons, so you can put boards in your boards and format your info however you like. In my case, I made a subboard for my theme colors and a mood board for the general feel I want for the site. For my website update in particular, I used Milanote to compile all the info I needed to take a look at and the changes I needed to make per web page. You can even doodle on the board and on top of your sticky notes if that feels more
Okay, that
intuitive
sounded
for
like
you.
doo
I've
doo,
been using
and
this web tool
I'm
since I was in
way
college.
too old
I
for
used
this.
it for my thesis and extracurricular work since it's really good with flowcharts and just getting ideas out there and piecing them together. I've also used it for games, planning out merch, and like I did for this project, making mood
Alright.
boards. I like it because it's very uncomplicated and pretty straight to the point with how it works. But But even then, there are options for color and style customization in case you're the bullet journal type who wants to make things look neater and prettier. Or you could be kind of a goblin like me, just wireframes are
No, wait. No, this must be her.
essentially a drawn out basic structure of your website. It's usually done in a very simple way, with no colors and just placeholders for how you want things on the website to look like. It's also so you don't put too much effort in a structure your client might want big revisions on. In this scenario, I was my own client, so I just went straight ahead to adding colors and images while I was laying it all out, because it was just for me. I started with the design first over programming and building the structural elements of the website. I am more of an artist than a programmer, so having the
Same.
mockup as the first course of action was what made the most sense to me. I used Figma balls.
Oh my. What?
I used I used Figma to make the wireframes for my website. I like to think of it as advanced PowerPoint. Maybe if PowerPoint and Photoshop had a baby,
It's Ligma balls. First off.
and it pursued web development in college or something. Or like Canva, but very specifically for web design. I still use this tool for web dev and planning out UI for games and software. And the nice thing about it is you can create prototypes of your website and test out how it looks on different devices without needing to program anything, buttons and links and all. It used to show what CSS styling was needed to make the element you're working on, but I think they paywalled it recently, which sucks because I like
They
that
paywall
feature,
everything.
but something capitalism. For the people
Yeah.
watching who might be unfamiliar with what HTML or CSS is, think of HTML as a plain, untextured house in The Sims, and CSS
Yep.
as the wallpaper and flooring and furniture you place after. HTML
Yep.
helps provide the structure, and CSS helps decorate it. There's a bit of an initial learning curve to both, as with all things, but once you get the hang of it,
And then JavaScript is what happens when you can actually use something in the house.
HTML and CSS are pretty easy to implement and understand. Anyway, back to the design, I was very much inspired by my memories and my feelings of Y2K sites, but I wanted to incorporate my current style and use more modern tools to build it. I wanted my website to be a place where people would want to tinker around and click
Damn
on
it,
stuff
not
for
yet.
fun. And there are a lot of ideas I had for that. I was even thinking of making a little map a la Neopets, but I decided to go for a mix of accessible
Neopets.
portfolio site and something that wouldn't take too much time for me. It was supposed to be a practice project for my job, after all. And
Yeah.
so I ended up with this layout. I also made a dark mode version, which I
I wanna
made
make a
because
dark mode
although
version.
I am a light mode enjoyer, I know for a fact most people enjoy dark mode more.
Yeah.
So I made a little nighttime version. And then I just kept adding to these wireframes every time I thought of something fun to add, since it was easier for me to visualize here than through script. As a little segue, let me explain front end and back end web development real quick to those who might not be super familiar. Front end is essentially everything the user sees on your site
Oh,
and
yes.
can interact with.
It works
Your
now.
images, buttons, menus, the whole design. Back end, on the other hand, deals with the things people can't see. That's your databases, servers, API calls, etc. It's script that makes sure that the website is performant and is actually functional. I think it might be obvious what type of development I lean into more. I do struggle with back end quite a bit, so working
Same.
within my boundaries, I made sure that the site was more on the fun, simple side over functionalities that might need a little extra out of me. Frameworks are pretty much templates for starting your website. They're a set of components that give you a foundation to work with, so you don't have to start completely from scratch. In a way, you can think of it as a game engine like Unity or Godot. In this scenario, I use React, which is a free and popular framework that I was also learning for work at that time. There are so many tutorials and user-made packages and libraries out there for React as well, which makes it easier to build different parts of the website. I'll talk about that more later. On top of React, I initially used Gatsby.js, which is a framework that works with React to build static websites. By static website, I mean my website is the same regardless of who looks at it. There isn't a database or an account system where it's personalized for different users. Though I ended up switching from Gatsby to Next.js recently, mostly because development there felt more streamlined and also because a friend strongly recommended it to me. Alongside all of those, I use a different mix of libraries and packages to make things a little more convenient to build. I used to use Bulma as my main component library. Essentially, it's a library where I can take element templates like buttons and cards from, but I ended up switching to Tailwind CSS because I wanted full customizability for my website components. Anyway, the actual programming experience was the same as all my other programming experiences. Frustrating and satisfying. If you watched my other videos before, I think you might be able to tell that I derive a lot of satisfaction from creating things, even if the creation process is a bit of a struggle. Programming is not my strongest suit, believe it or not. I quite
Yep.
literally took computer science in college because I was convinced I wouldn't be able to learn it by myself, and also something job security. In
Yeah.
this field, I am very average, so I did have to go through a lot of tutorials. I think my biggest struggle while I was making this was the window feature.
Yeah, and funny thing is, ugh, what the fuck did I end up in a data science program? I don't know. But I did. And so, neat. Anyway,
I wanted my website to look like a desktop where you could click icons to open web pages, and I had to figure out how to make the windows draggable and stack on top of each other. While I was updating the website, actually, the library I used to help me implement the dragging functionality wasn't compatible with the React version I upgraded to. So I had to scrap that whole system and rewrite everything with a
I
different
hate that.
library, which was kind of stressful, I'm not gonna lie. Luckily, there are a lot of people in the community that create packages you can just download onto your React project. For
True.
example, I could have made this waving water part of the background from scratch, but I would have probably spent hours figuring it out. Instead, there was a package called React Wavify, which just let me import a wave with custom properties I could tweak. I could have
Oh,
also
neat.
poured hours into figuring out how to make sounds play, but packages like Howler and Use Sound have given me a more accessible way to go about it. I'm super grateful for these devs and their extensive documentation. They update these regularly, by the way, and they provide all of these packages for free for you to play around with. It's awesome. I feel like I'm scrapbooking, but all the paper and glue and stickers are free. The one thing on my site that was explicitly back-end was my contact window. It was a little form you could use to send messages straight to my work email, and I used an automation service called Make to help send the email over to me. The thing is, I was worried that once I posted this video, there would be a high chance for spam if the number of visitors went up. So I decided to just leave an email button for now. I've never outright publicized my website, so this is kind of its first foray outside of that one tweet reply I made back then. I really liked it though, the contact window. It would show a little success, your message has been sent with a heart before. I'd love to bring it back next time once I find the right way to go about it. But yeah, I made components, made them work with each other, tested them out until I was happy, and then went, yeah, okay, I'll put this up online. I want to show it to my friends. Before placing it out there, I did a quick design and accessibility check. My former boss sent me a website called Checklist Design that gives you a list of things to check and consider before wrapping up your website. I like that it gives you pretty specific things to check, like did you make a toggle for dark and light mode, or do you have variants for your buttons when they're disabled or hovered or pressed on, things you might miss. There are also websites like WebAIM or Web Accessibility in Mind that give you a complete guide to the web content accessibility guidelines, which help you check on design elements that might be difficult for other users to use. These are always good to have because I believe that the more people who can enjoy your website, the better. I really like the word deploy. It feels like I'm an engineer releasing a rocket into space. But in this scenario, deploying essentially means putting your website out there in the public for everyone to see. When
Yep.
you're making a website this way, you usually just test it out via your local host. In other words, only you can see your website while you're building it. Once it comes to the point where you're confident enough to put it out there, you'll have to deploy it to a server who serves your website. There are usually different types of deployment for testing, but since this project is just me, I hooked it up to Vercel, a server host, and straight up just deployed it. I used to use Google Firebase to help host my website back in 2023, but since I changed to the Next.js framework, which is developed by Vercel, I figured it would be more seamless to just switch to hosting it with Vercel instead. I linked it up to my domain name, and voila, my website is public. Then I asked a bunch of friends to test it out for me just to make sure it worked. One issue that I did notice with my website before was that it had high download usage.
Wow.
But I realized it was just because I didn't optimize my images. I converted them from PNGs to WebPs, which made the load a lot lighter. And that's pretty much how I ended up with my website. I'm still pretty happy with it today, and I'm thinking of a few other things to add in the near future. One thing I'm planning to do is a journal of all my Tamagotchi pets. I fell down the Tamagotchi rabbit hole recently, and I've been logging my experiences with some of the pets after
Oh
a
wow,
friend
wait,
showed
those
me
are
an old
still
Tamagotchi public obituary. I
oh
thought the idea was so funny that I wanted to make it myself, and then I was like, oh yeah, I probably can if I try. So that's gonna be the next thing I'll try to make. I think it's a fun idea. On the topic of should you be making your own website, it's up to you, but I highly encourage it. I think there's a lot of fun to be had on websites outside the basic feeds of Twitter and Instagram. I love seeing people's digital scrapbooks, and I think sometimes it looks difficult to get into, but it's actually not that bad. Plus, if you're a designer and you're someone who is really opposed to learning programming, you could always try out a website builder or design the mock-up yourself and look for someone freelance to program it for you. It's just that there's so much internet out there, and I can't believe we've just stopped being creative with it.
I
Where
know,
did all
right?
the personality of the websites from the early 2000s go? And we don't even have to exactly mimic the styles of Y2K. For some reason, we just stopped having fun with these and prioritized a standard template for e-commerce and digital business cards instead. And they all look kind of the same. Where's the whimsy, you know? In an
There is none.
ultra-modern era where we have access to so many tools and website builders, we're at the point where you don't even need to know how to program to create your own website. And I just feel like that's such a missed opportunity for people to make cool things on the internet. Even Tumblr kind of standardized everyone's webpage when you click on them instead of linking you to their actual stylized Tumblr site. Like, look at this website dedicated to a person's cats, or this website full of a guy's ocean creature clip art, or this website stylized like a medieval stronghold with a dedicated page to his wife, or this very, passionate webpage.
Oh
Hello ladies,
wow.
let me tell you my hobbies. I like to play chess and chat with ladies on the internet. If you ever want to explore how fun personal websites were back then, check out Cameron's World. It's a collection of old GeoCities website archives with links to their respective internet archive pages. It's a super fun look. Big thank you to my friend Waki for showing me this. If you're not into web surfing, because in this day and age it can be scary,
It
games like
is.
Hypnospace Outlaw give the same vibe. Highly recommend you check these out, they're really fun. And that concludes my video. Thank you for watching. I know I usually make more art and animation centric videos, but I just thought this might be fun to share. I want people to know that things like this are possible to do at home. And I'm really passionate about this topic actually, and I'm thinking of making another video in the near future about the Y2K website boom, since that was a big part of my childhood. We'll see. Thank you to my very cute lasagna supporters shown on screen. I'm always really grateful that people support me and the little projects I make. You guys are so nice to me. Thank you as well to Milanote for sponsoring the video. I am always really happy to be sponsored by products I actually use, and Milanote's one of them. Games I've been playing recently, I've come back to my childhood hidden object phase, so I've been playing a lot of Artifex Mundi games. They're so something. They're very camp. The voice acting is not very good. The cutscenes are also not very good. The plots are honestly insane, but it's so entertaining, I don't know how to explain. I'm like 5 games in deep, and I've enjoyed each one very much in a very I am cringe but I am free way. They're just so
I wanna
good
beat
and they
that.
scratch
Hey.
my casual puzzle game itch. Yeah. Okay, that's all. Bye.
I don't know what Venom looks like for me. Is it just being a cringy ass bitch? I don't know. But anyway. We've reached 2.5 hours. So I guess with that, I'm out. Cause I've been doing a lot. And it's already 4 a.m. 4:30 a.m. to be a lot more exact. So thank you everyone for watching. If you did, I do appreciate it. And I guess I'm just gonna like spend the rest of the morning slash night dealing with like this whole website stuff. Oh yeah, for like statistical purposes, I need to stay up. I need to stay for another minute because apparently Streamlabs does not count the last like minute or two of a live stream. So then it just told me I think it told me that I didn't like reach the threshold that I thought that I did. But yeah, this is a lot I've been able to do. Now I have like a lot more. I have like a lot more inspiration. Now I don't need to make like these types of really boring websites where I'm just like, bam. No, like the bam isn't even necessary. It's just like, okay, well, I guess. Anyway, off that tangent, I'm gonna go now because I'm sleepy, to be completely honest. And I still have to like brush my teeth and um take a shower and such. So yeah, I'm out. Thank you for watching. If you did,